Listener discretion advised. Fuck it, free speech, motherfucker!
Podcast presents information based on theory and conjecture. Creator's purpose is to suggest some possible explanation, but not necessarily the only ones to the mysteries we will examine. Remember, everything that you hear from this podcast comes from sources on the internet, and remember, if it's on the internet, it should be taken with a grain of salt and judge it by your own discretion.
Something wrong with the world, the perception led you to research and ask questions, and those questions led you to answers which led you here, to this small pocket dimension in the dark corner of the multiverse. Welcome to the Of Dark Matters podcast, where we discuss topics of the occult, conspiracy, the paranormal, and world news. And now, your hosts, MoJoE the Mad and Dr. Clutch.
Welcome, everybody, to the show. I am MoJoE the Mad. You unlock this door with the key of midnight frequency. This is a fifth dimension beyond the one we measure with clocks and coordinates. It is a dimension of shadow and signal, of pulse and absence, of the places where sound itself begins to dream. It lies between the pit of forgotten emotions and the summit of what the human nervous system can feel. We call it, for the purpose of this transmission, the realm of dark matters. Consider this, if you will, a man in Madrid, a man as the daylight world defines him, producer, pianist, commercial survivor of the music industry. It's a cold machine, but something more unstable. In 2006, he walked away. For 14 years, the keyboards fell silent. The industry exacted exactly what it needed, the soul. And it seemed it had been filled and underexpended. Then the long confinement of 2020, its time itself began to glitch. In that enforced stillness, something latent reinserted itself. A controller, software monitors, and suddenly the frequencies returned, not as the product, but as a confession. He calls the project Enimatik. The music industry does not really occupy its space. It questions whether the listener still occupies the same reality after hearing it. Chillsteps that curdles into industrial darkwave. Ambient that carries temperature of abandonment, ruins, and remembered skin. Tracks that smell of Gothic Madrid nights and another decade of photographs taken in ruin of voices, Jane Demon Roads among them, that arrive across distance like messages of a parallel timelines. Songs titled as if they were clinical reports from the edge of consciousness. Photosex, terminal lucidity, noctirathron, intimate electronic music, melodies that insist emotions is not a decoration, but the only reliable evidence that any of this is still real. Philip K. Dick once suggested that the true horror is not that the world is fake, but that we might never know the difference. And the only proof of authenticity that is left to us is the intensity of what we feel. Enimatik's work operates in the same certainty of this territory. It is essentially sensuality, not simulated. Is the melancholy manufactured, Or has the music industry simply located one frequency where simulation and sincerity has become indistinguishable? Tonight on Of Dark Matters, we receive a signal from that frequency from Spain and the dark underground from a man who has stopped making music for other people's scripts and began composing the private weather of his own nervous system. Submitted for your approval, Enimatik.
Hi all. Thank
Oh,
you so
give me
much.
1 second. The door's open. The signal is live. Welcome to the Of Dark Matters podcast. And welcome to the Of Dark Matters podcast. The signal is open. The frequency is live. Architect, chronicler of dark emotions, Enimatik in his work moves between chillstep, industrial wave, and his carrying sensual melodic charge, and feels less like music, like a transmission from another room in the same haunted house. You can find him at his website, Enimatik.com, Instagram at Enimatik, Bandcamp, Enimatik at .bandcamp.com. Enimatik, welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and get a round of applause for him from our studio audience. Yes, if they'll let me do it. There we go. Yes. Welcome. All right. So I just got to find something real quick. There we go. Boom. Wait, no, we want to show that one off. There we go. Settle down, everybody. Okay, settle down. Yes. They're really excited to hear from you, as you can tell.
Hi. MoJoE. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm very excited about the show, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the friendship and opportunity to exchange ideas, to create our own magic together right now. And I'm happy to have you here. It's a real honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
So should we start off with some questions? You want to hear some questions?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you started piano at age 7 at your mother's initiative and later studied classical organ. How did those early classical foundations shape the electronic music you create today, sir?
They helped me immensely. So as I pick up music theory, learning to read and write sheet music, and develop hand dexterity from a very young age. Playing the piano and classical organ early also give me the ear and skill to transcribe the songs I hear without computer assistant back then. We are talking early 80s. Later on, that knowledge helped me to translate my ideas and creativity through modern technology.
Okay, let's go back to the next question. What was it like discovering synthesizers as a teenager in Madrid, and how did you change your relationship with music, my friend?
I remember my very first scene was a Corrs in one. It's a legendary keyboard and one of the earliest workstation on the market. We are talking here at the early 90s. The jump from classical organs. At the moment, I had a Farfisa and Yamaha. Was absolutely like night and day. Suddenly, sounds could be saved as presets with. I had incredible quality and variety. Plus, the Corrs come with a built-in sequencer. That keyboard was essentially my first digital audio workstation. It's where I learned step programming. It only had 8 tracks, but coming from where I was coming from, I felt like magic. It finally let me say my first full composition without relying on sheet music, and it made me fall in love for electronic music right from day one.
Okay, can you describe the local bands you played during your adolescence, and what kinds of music were you making with them?
They were classic pop rock bands. The typical setup was with guitars, bass, drums, keyboards, and vocalists. The lineups were constantly shifting. So I never really found stability with any of them. Sometimes we play radio friendly pop. Uh, and others try a heavy rock sound, but we never quite locked down a Carey identity. It was a blast. I was very young. Music felt genuinely mystical to a lot of us back then. Rehearsal were our escape from school and daily life, and playing shows at local high schools made us feel like rock stars. I had a absolute time. I definitely miss that teenage spark and innocence.
Alrighty then. When did you first realize? Oops, give me 1 second. Let me get the camera going. Okay. When did you first realize the music was more than just a hobby for you?
Uh, back in the mid 90s, right as music technology started fitting into the revolution we have seen over the coming decades. I realized that something huge passed on the horizon. In the years prior, I had recorded tracks in high-end professional studios trying to pitch to record labels. So I was fully aware of the massive technical infrastructure they relied on. There were massive SSL and NIF mixing consoles, for 24 track tape recorders, top tier outboard, yeah, all worth hundreds of thousands of euros on top of the studio build itself. I had a good feeling that electronic music technology was about to change everything, and that's when I started shaping a project of my own in my head.
Nice. Okay. Let's go. Let's do another question real quick, and then maybe we can go to a track if you wish. Okay.
Okay.
In the late 1990s, you moved from your home studio experiments into a commercial recording studio. What pushed you to take that leap?
Um, it was a pure intuition that I felt that a major shift was happening in music technology, and I didn't want to miss out, especially since I saw a real business opportunity there, which turned out to be spot on in my in my in my feelings. In my last home setup before launching a commercial studio, I come from very old equipment, a 4 track cassette recorder, 8 track hard disk recorder. But when I remember that it was yesterday, when the first reasonable affordable Pro Tools systems and digital consoles started hitting the market, and in my eyes, that changed the game completely. I saw the chance to offer professional recording services at accessible rights while simultaneously composing and producing music for media producing companies.
Okay. Let's go into. Do you want to listen to one of your tracks right now, or do you want to answer some more questions? What would you like to do?
Okay, listen to it. Okay.
Okay. Well, right now I have Photosex, Nocturne
Oh,
3 on, Desires. I have a video with Jane right here, which is In a Moment in Time, and Noctis Voyager. What would you like to listen to?
let's start with Photo 6.
Photo sex. There you go. We're going to do some photo sex right now. So for all those that are listening in, of course, this is actually our first musician that we brought here. So it's going to be a combination interview and music for you to listen to. And then, of course, during our interlude, we have a couple more songs with some animated stuff that I had put together, not only from our promo, but what I did special for Enimatik himself. So without further ado, here is Photo Sex. Yes! Photo sex. Calm down, nebulous audience from the other side of the dimensions. Calm down, I say. Settle down. Okay, so let's go to the next question, my friend. You spent years producing for TV, cinema, series, and local artists. What was the most rewarding project from that period, and why, sir?
Well, the project I look back on most fondly is the soundtrack for a Spanish animated series commissioned by a major animation studio in my country. It was set in a dystopian future, with give me a total freedom to use synthesizers, electronic beats, and contemporary styles. Compared to other projects that were mostly kid music, this series was an incredible rush. I remember pulling out scenes like Access Virus and Waldorf Microwave. Was using futuristic sample libraries at the time. I had an absolute blast working on that project.
Okay, see here. You have described yourself as feeling like a mercenary during those commercial years. Can you expand on that feeling, my friend?
Yes. During those years, I had little time for myself. The workload was driven by an intense calendar, strict numbers of episodes per week, and yielding deadlines. more often than not, I be back in the studio right after dinner, getting into the early hours, and I lost count of how many times I crashed on the control room coach. I was stuck composing music while starting a Enimatik characters on a monitor, syncing stacks of hardware via MIDI, with a single afternoon off to make music for myself, my music. The money, the money was great, but month after month, the feeling of being a mercenary just keep growing.
Okie dokie. Okay. What specifically led you to walk away from the music industry in around 2006?
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 2016. I was in one of the largest post-production studios in Madrid for a private screening of an animated feature film that I discovered. The facility was unbelievable. It was a massive post-production console, a dedicated machine room housing multiple Pro Tools racks and a control room that was essentially a mini cinema. It had rows of theater seats and a huge projection screen. I estimate the studio setup alone cost several million euros. Sitting Sitting right next to me were the top executive and the owner of the media company that commissioned the score. This guy, I remember, this guy was taking 50% put on my production rights, 50%, without knowing a single thing about music or composition. It
Yeah,
was a a great deal for him.
yeah,
After
I bet.
after a few minutes of introduction, the lights timed out and the Universal logo flashed on the screen. The movie started playing along with my music. Everything was beautiful, but within minutes, some thoughts began in my head. I what I doing with my creative drive? Do I really want to be remembered as hollow music for her guy? I and I going to spend the rest of my life never making my own music. The money, I said, the money was great, but and plenty of musicians I know will consider that run a dream come true. But I can tell you firsthand, I felt like anything, but I had this overwhelming sense that I was selling my soul to the devil and signed to a recording studio, working many hours, missing out real life at the time when I should have been living it. That driving for that night, I told myself that it had to end. Within days, I sold my company to the highest bidder and I simply disappeared.
Well, I know what that's like, right? Like feeling overwhelmed, right, by this,
Yeah,
just by your creation.
happened to many of us. Happened to many of us. Yes,
Yeah, but also as an artist, we're like sensitive people, right? So
yes,
like when things start to go in a negative fashion against our creative like abilities, right? We have a tendency to want to hang up our guns, right? And that's kind of what goes into the next question right here.
okay.
Because I've done it myself. I've said, no, I'm not going to play or create anything anymore. Everything is blah, you know. But let's go to this question right here. For roughly 14 years, you stayed away from composing. How did you fill that creative void in your life, my friend?
Well, beyond music, I also a huge film lover. Cinema offered me a direct connection to other people's creativity. Um, I'm particularly drawn to sci-fi, which really lets my imagination run wild. Looking back, listening to music and watching movies during those years helped me hold on to my passion for music and art in general, while keeping me tuned into emerging styles and new composers. I think I at the time I desperately needed step away from everything tied to music business. I needed to reset and take an extended break. Those years served to keep on building my library of favorite tracks. I think it wasn't a creative period for me, but rather a time of reflection. I got in a reflection, I think.
Okay. The Enimatik project was born during Spain's COVID lockdown. Walk us through the moment you decided to buy equipment and start composing again.
Um, it was a very hard time for everyone. I struggled with insomnia, spending my nights watching movies, YouTube videos, and reading. With so much sadness and devastation happening outside, I really could not think of anything else to do. I vividly remember one night opening a window, looking over the city, and hearing absolutely nothing. It was 3 a.m. and normally you catch some kind of ambient noise like cars going by, people, machinery, but there was just that silence. It was terrific. I remember I closed the window and put some music videos to try to calm my nerves, and that's when it just hit me. For just previous, whenever I listen to other artists, I tell to myself, leave it to them. They are doing perfectly right. You are out of the game, and you probably could even reach the level anymore. But the sheer weight of that lockdown moment forced a city in perspective. I asked myself, why not give it a shot now that you actually have the time? Why? What do you have to lose? What if this pandemic just keeps getting worse? The very next morning, I remember I searched online and ordered a MIDI controller, an audio interface, a microphone, headphones, and a pair of studio monitors. And when the year finally arrived at my phone, I loaded up in my computer with some software from an old hard drive. I opened a blank project to my DAW, and right there, that's exactly when Enimatik was born.
Okay, let's go to the next question. You have said, well, no, it goes back to a COVID question with a pandemic, everybody. And I feel you there. You know why? Because I was going through a lot of like it was darker for me then. It was just the realization that like the world can shut everything down and like you're totally alone, right?
We are
No,
we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable.
yeah. So I feel you there. I believe that like music is a release, right? It's a release of emotions. Let's go back into this question. Uh, you have said that the pandemic unexpectedly gave you the emotional space to reconnect with music. How did that change you as a person?
I lost people during the pandemic, like many of us, and that made me cherish what I had even more. Picking a composition again after so many years became the best therapy I could have asked for at the time. It gave me clarity, hope, and something to look forward to when the future felt so uncertain. Human connection, I remember. Human connection was completely gone. I remember going to the grocery store in wearing masks, gloves, and protective goggles, keeping my distance for everyone, and obsessively sanitizing every single item brought into my house. People from Spain, we are naturally warm. We are affectionate people, so that isolation was a massive shock to us. I spent three full months without seeing my friends or many members of my family. That situation made me value my inner circle even more. The people I missed so dearly. I remember watching the news and seeing 800 people dying in a single day. Really good things into perspective. It made me grateful for every morning I wake up healthy and alongside the people I love. It was a dark, terrible chapter, but luckily I came out intact, and I truly hope we never have to live through anything like this again.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there, man. Like between the fear that they were trying to put out, you know, I mean, I don't know if people remember the War on Terror, but it was real similar, wasn't it? You know,
Indeed, indeed.
yeah, basically like, they're telling us that there's something that out there that that's going to hurt us, and we're not even sure whether it is or not. And then of course, there was the vaccines too that also caused people to have injuries as well and get
Very
sick.
hard time. Very hard times.
Very hard time. Very dystopian, right? Very
Yes,
dystopian. Yeah, very
yes.
dark. Which is like right up there with all industrial music. It was, I just going to add a little bit of conversation to this outside of questions. For all the music we listened to back in the day that was like industrial or movies about the future, little did we know we'd be living through it, right?
Yeah.
That's very very dark, difficult times. In fact, I started drinking during that time a little bit just to try to
Understand.
get out of that mindset. I'm glad I don't anymore, but there we go. So we'll do one more question and we'll play another track. How's that sound? Okay. After so many years away, how did it feel for the first time when you sat down and wrote a new piece of music?
Honestly, it was a mind-blowing feeling. Over 14 years have passed since the last time I sat down in front of a sequencer of a DAW. But all that memory, all that knowledge was still right there in my head. The mixing, the sequencing, the patterns, the arrangement, even the keyboard shortcuts. It was amazing. It felt as if no time had passed at all. All I really had to do was get up to speed with a few new features in the studio, the software, but everything else clicked right back into place. It was amazing. It proved to me that composing and producing is just like riding a bike. Once you learn it never really left you. I remember perfectly. It was amazing.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and play a track right here. What track would you like me to play? So we've gone through Photo 6, Nocturion, Desires.
Desires, featuring
Some Desires.
featuring Nana.
Yeah, we got some Desires
White Black
going on
Angel,
right
White
now.
Black
We got
Angel.
Desires to play this track. So everybody that is listening in, this is going to be another track from Enimatik. I hope you enjoy it. Here's Desires.
We awake.
Yes, that was another song from Enimatik. They love it. They love it.
How do we know that you're not the felon? Just trying to con us out of our new Wolfman Jack technology.
Who knows? Who knows? But yes, we're back with more questions with composer, musician, Enimatik. Great to have you on the show, man, and to showcase your music, which leads us to our next question, my friend. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for our next question? Let's get into that next question real quick. Let's burn through some of these questions. Was there any fear or hesitation when you decided to share Enimatik's music publicly, my friend?
No. I spent some time researching the new digital distributors. And once I picked one, I didn't have any hesitation. It was mind blowing for me to see how much the situation for indie artists has shifted in just 15 years. Decades ago, I remember there was zero chance for independent artists to distribute their music globally unless a record label offered them a contract. It was incredibly frustrating. Trust me, I know the feeling firsthand. Back in my younger days, I remember working right up to the headquarters of major labels to drop off physical demos. With almost entirely ended up in a trash the second I stepped out of the door. It was frustrating. Today, our only focus like artists is to be making great music and pushing yourself as an artist. And for a very low fee, you can get your tracks playing all over the world. Honestly, I don't think people appreciate enough just how incredible this is. I don't think.
Alrighty, let's go on to the next question. Looking back, do you think Enimatik would have existed without the lockdown?
Sadly, but I don't think so. With the non-stop rush of daily life, I simply would have had the time or the mental space to start composing again. I know it's deeply sad, but I try to look on the positive side, knowing that Enimatik emerged out of one of the darkest, the hardest chapter of my life for a reason, and that Enimatik is something I believe that will ultimately of lightning.
Okie dokie. Such a popular man I am. People are hitting me up right now wanting to know how I'm doing. I think we're doing well, don't you think? We're doing well, just me and you. Yeah.
Yes, I'm really satisfied with with the song.
Well, I mean, with all the stuff that was going on, I don't know, but I did it. I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with questions. So when people see me right now on the air, like I'm asking questions because these are specific questions for Enimatik. And while I can go, freelance on it, I think it's important that we get down to asking questions that pertain specifically to Enimatik himself. And so I hope that when you see me looking down, I'm running the board, I'm not distracted. I wish I could look at the camera at all you beautiful people all at once. As our motto says, here of Dark Matters, we're not just going to steer you right, we're going to steer you wrong. So I hope we're steering you right today and getting some good tunes out there and you're all enjoying it. So let's go back to another question for you. How would you describe the emotional core of Enimatik's music to someone hearing it for the first time?
I always divided the music I listen into two simple categories: tracks that hit me on an emotional level and tracks that don't. It's completely subjective, of course, but I think we all have songs that instantly give us goosebumps the second they start, while others just leave us totally cold. My goal is to create songs that provoke deep emotions, tracks that lie into live experience, spark the imagination, and evoke pure feeling. Every single song I release touched me deeply when I listen back to it. And my truly hope is that whoever hears my music connect with it in the same way and feel something special.
Okay, let's see here. Next question. Your sound evolved from chill step and ambient towards industrial and dark wave. What triggered that seismic shift?
Jane is hearing me. And
Yeah. What's up, Jane?
absolutely
Привет, Jane. Привет. Go ahead.
meeting Jane and Renate. They introduced me to the Eastern Europe alternative electronic scene, the art of urban exploration photography, the Gothic aesthetic. They both reshaped Enimatik in such a profound way that they are and always will be a core part of the project. The influence goes far beyond the music. On a personal level, where our friendship runs incredibly deep.
Alrighty, let's see here. Um, you often talk about wanting to provoke emotions that first arise inside of you: love, passion, melancholy, sensuality. How do you translate those feelings into sonic sound, my friend?
It's curious because someone once told me that I build intricate, beautiful harmonies and short transitions partly by instinct. Even though I have a background in music theory and I can read and write sheet music, when it comes to composing, I simply get let go and follow the feeling. A lot of my tracks start with me just jamming on my keyboard controller with an experienced present, testing ideas until something hits and sparks a real connection. Other times, a melody just pops into my head out of nowhere, and I rush to the studio to capture it. If I'm out, I use a phone app to record quick short loops or sample melodies so the idea doesn't slip away. And other times, a simple photograph by Renat or Tanya spark emotions in me that I try to translate directly into music. I know it might sound strange to a lot of people, but for me, it just comes naturally. I can really explain how or why it happens. There are also times when in the middle of a project, tweaking a couple of chords or a bass line completely transforms the track. Once the chord progression on a melody are locked in, I focus on building evocative atmosphere through sound design, arrangement, and drum layering. It can be a very slow, meticulous process, but keeping that emotional core in that is for me is the ultimate goal.
All right. Well, this is about the time we have. Like, let's do one more question, and we'll take a little break. And I've made a little bit of a collage, if you will, a little bit of
Okay,
collage, a little bit of art with some of his music, right?
okay,
So if you're gonna get ready, this is gonna be a little break coming up here pretty quick. Let's see here. Let's go with this next question, and then we'll take a break. Okay?
okay.
Está bien? Bien, bien. Okay. All right.
Todo bien,
My
todo bien.
Spanish. Sí, es verdad, amigo. Es verdad. Okay. You often talk. Okay, I already did that one. What does the typical composition session look like for you from the first track idea to the finished track?
Um, for me, getting a track to the finish line is a pretty long journey. Setting aside mixing and mastering the composition and arrangement phases can either be completely effortless or a total grind. Some songs flow naturally from me to one, almost as if they were just sitting inside me, waiting to be released into the world. It's amazing sensation. But others take a ton of iteration and several revisions before they fully click. When vocals are involved, it becomes a dual effort because you have to write lyrics that match the emotional weight of the instrumental and getting lead vocals, whatever my own or guest vocalist, to sit perfectly in the arrangement, it takes meticulous work. Fortunately, every singer who has collaborated with Enimatik brings an incredible intuition for the wife. So the end result, I think, always hit the mark. Once the arrangement and vocals are locked in, I move into mixing, which can easily take me a few weeks. Modern production technology lets you achieve a mind-blowing level of detail and precision, but you need a clear vision. You have infinite options inside a modern studio, and it's easy to overthink and mix and end up burning out a track. You must be very carefully with that, I think. Finally, the mastering process is relatively quick compared to the mixing process, but it's critical. It's beyond polishing the overall sound is where I dial in the dynamics and loudness to I wanted to ensure the track translates seamlessly across all streaming platform. It has a good listening. I think is the goal. I say it's a very long process.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Sorry, having some problems with my camera there for a second. Okay, so for those that are listening in, this has been the end of the first hour of the Of Dark Matters podcast. And yes, let's get some cheering applause for our guest. Yes.
Thank you. Gracias.
Yes. No applause, just money. That's good. Yes, applause. We love applause. So for those that are listening in, settle down here. Settle down. It's okay. We know you're excited. Okay. For those that are listening in, this is, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a break. It's about 7 minutes, 44 seconds. It includes tracks, Born to Die, and what was the other one that was on there? Do you remember? Anyway, it's 2 songs, Born to Die, and let me just verify the one that's there, because I don't want to sound like a bow. I believe it's going to be Midnight Avalon.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we're gonna play this track. This is a special gift from me to you, sir.
Thank you.
With some art that I did with the promo.
Whoa.
And some special art for you. So I hope you enjoy it. Right? Everyone listening in, stay tuned. We'll be back after this break.
living in the shadows. What that is life.
Yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for all the cheers and awesomeness. We do appreciate this. Yes, we do. And we have this. Welcome back to the second hour of Dark Matters podcast. I am MoJoE the Mad, and I am here solo today. Dr. Clutch is out of the office, but we are with Enimatik. Let's welcome him back. Let's do that right now. Yes, right on, Enimatik. Welcome back, sir. The crowd loves you. They do. They love you. They love you.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah, I love you too. Muy corazón. Yes! All right, settle down. All right, so now that we're back, you can go ahead and play a little bit of that ambience track back there. Give it a little bit of a weirdness, a little bit of unsettlingness, although those songs were really good. Beautiful. How did you like the animation? Yeah? You like it?
I like it.
You know,
very nice animation.
well, you know what's weird is you told me about your graphic novel, and I had no knowledge of your graphic novel and your songs tying together, and I made the promo that way.
Oh,
isn't that weird? Tells you something about my cabeza. Yes.
We must collaborate. We must collaborate about the graphic novel. You know.
Well, I want to collaborate with you. I think we would create, as magicians ourselves, we will create magic, right? We will create magic. So, let's go back to some questions here. All right, you ready for some questions?
Ready.
All right. Okay. Okay. I believe I'm on this question right here. So if I'm off, I'm off. But I'm going to try to go back to that question. You often talk about wanting to provoke emotions that first arise inside. Did I already ask that question? I think I did. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. What does the typical composition look like to you from the first idea to the finished track? Did I lose you there? I think I did lose you. I'm
what number was? What number
19.
is it?
Bente Nueve, I think.
Okay.
How you say it?
Okay.
You want me to repeat it? I could.
Oh, okay. I got it. Yes.
Okay, good.
29. You say 29?
19.
Okay. We are going for work.
Did I say Bente Nueve? That means 29, right? Right. We're 19. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I don't got the question. What number is?
19. 19.
We had made a question before.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. No big deal. How about that?
Might be mistake for my
number 20. Right, number 20.
Okay,
how
20.
Much? Yes. How much?
It was the when we stayed before. Okay, it's 20 questions.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We'll do that. We're going to try to get through all of them if we can. We are.
No, it's fine. Question. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you want to go back to that one?
No. 20.
Okay. Let's do that. How much of your process is planned versus purely intuitive?
I think 50-50. Mixing process follows a structured technical process, EQ, compression, effects, gain staging. In my case, relies on definite workflows, while my ears act as the ultimate intuitive guide overseeing every decision. Mixing and mastering demand a disciplined, methodical approach. I think you are working with complex tools that require big technical knowledge to get real results. On the other side, composing, songwriting, and a vocal performance for me are purely intuitive. There's still, of course, a structure. For example, lyrics need cadence and rhyme. The chord progression follow fundamental logic, but the real, I think the real engine driving that place is raw instinct and inspiration. For me, there is nothing more rewarding than playing back and fishing a track and feeling that emotional response. That's a feeling I never had back when I was working as a mercenary composer.
All right, let's go to the next question. Your influences range from Prince, Depeche Mode, Hans Zimmer, and Mecano. How do such different artists coexist in your creative mind?
First of all, I feel incredibly privileged to have experienced music in the 80s and the 90s. Back then, things were completely different from now. There was no internet, no smartphones, no CDs. At first, the music live on vinyls and cassette, and having a collection of your favorite artists was a real investment. Despite that, for many young people back then, music had a truly magical place. It was our primary escape, our way to align with modern trends and fashion. Along with cinema, music was our window to the outside world. There wasn't internet. To me, Prince is the greatest artist ever in history. He was a musical prodigy, a prolific composer who played dozens of instruments at a virtuoso level, a brilliant dancer, a great vocalist. He is the musician who influenced me the most, simply because so many of his tracks resonated on a deep emotional level for me. I remember this. This is very special. I remember buying the Purple Rain vinyl in 1985. I'm hearing for the very first time what I consider one of the greatest ballads ever written, The Beautiful Ones. For a kid like me at the time, it was a mystic, almost supernatural experience that ignited a driven desire to create music, trying to create, to evoke those same feelings through my own work. I miss Prince immensely. For other part, Depeche Mode is my favorite band of all time, and the main reason I fell in love with electronic music. In the late 80s and early 90s, when I started going out at night with friends, Depeche Mode was the soundtrack to so many of these nights and funny moments. It was a kind of incredible freedom, and in my point of view, they were the original gods, pioneering an aesthetic, a sonic signature, and an entire youth culture. So I hope Dave and Martin keep going for many years to come. To keep it brief, every artist who has saved me over the years has provided me the backdrop to a specific chapter of my life. That's why my taste spans so many different years, genres. I don't limit myself when listening to music. And while I definitely have my core preference, every now and then I just stumble upon hidden gems in completely unexpected genres that just blow me away. All of those influences are sit together inside me, and I think as both a wall of memories and a source of raw emotion. To me, that's what music is all about.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I think one of the things that we've lost in music um, is the emotional release. Right?
Yes, yes,
We've noticed that, like, with all types of music. I've had conversations with you privately
yes,
where we
yes.
talked about the blues, we talked about gospel, we talked about bluegrass, we talked about folk, right?
Uh,
Intermixing folk, and that's where I'm going to go into this next question because we talked about at one point experimental, right, which was intermixing Spanish culture, namely flamenco, right, with Gothic culture because it was so similar, and you were like, yeah, I can see it now, right? Especially like with the rise of like old European cultures coming into the music industry right now, or like what we would call basically, it probably doesn't sound like medieval music, but it's sort of a compromise, right? This would be put out there, and it seems to be also taken sort of my background.
I discovering new music thanks to you. You know, I'm discovering new
I'm
music.
discovering new music thanks to you. So this is like a given, like we're both like giving each other like new stuff, man. And
Yeah,
you know, Prince is a major influence on me.
I know.
Purple Rain, man, Purple Rain, and then the 1999 album. Right?
Yeah.
But let's go into this question because it kind of ties into that whole thing going into like Spanish music. Why not? Are there any Spanish artists or cultural elements that have quietly shaped Enimatik?
Absolutely. One of my favorite bands of all of time is Mecano. It was made out of two brilliant songwriting brothers, Nacho Cano and Jose Maria Cano, alongside an incredible vocalist called Ana Torroja. They were a cornerstone of La Movida in the 80s in Spain. La Movida was a cultural movement that completely revolutionized the country. Uh, Spain had emerged from a dictatorship just years prior, and La Movida represented an awakening of freedom, self-expression above all music. Mecano I think were the true pioneers of Hispanic electronic music years ahead of the time. I believe, I believe they were the first Spanish band to use a Firelight sampler. Best of all, they create beautiful songs that soundtracked my childhood and youth. I remember their live shows were pure magic. I remember the Cano brothers surrounded by synthesizers, sequencers, drum machines. It was magic. Seeing that firsthand definitely fueled my obsession with electronic music. Beyond electronic sounds, I deeply admire the master of Spanish flamenco guitar like Paco de Lucia, who in my eyes remains one of the greatest guitarists ever of all time. Also, classical composers like Manuel de Falla, Isaac Albeniz, Joaquín Rodrigo, and Enrique Granados also create some of the most profound music ever written in my country, in my opinion. And their influence is rams deep in me.
All right, yeah, you know, as a musician, I cannot stay in one location or stay in a box, right? Like,
Yes.
as much as I'd love to stay in a box, my mad scientist mind won't let me. I know some people do. You know, I don't. Do you feel confined at certain points? Do you want to like branch out into different styles? Like maybe there'll be a Spanish reggae song coming from Enimatik at some time in the future, right?
Eh,
I joke. I joke.
maybe we don't know. Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah. All right, so we got another question here, and then we'll play another track. Okay, for all those listening in, this is an interview with Enimatik from Spain. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're enjoying the listening tunes that we're putting out here. We intend to rock on. So here's the question. You have mentioned that photographs, especially Renat Hassler's work, often spark songs. Can you describe how a single image can become an entire track?
Yes, Renat has a unique talent. He has the uncanny ability to freeze a moment in time through his camera. I still remember the first time I stumbled across his Instagram profile called Virus of Metal Destruction, and the choice I good looking at his urban exploration photos of abandoned buildings. It was amazing for me. What happened in that hallway in that room, now decaying into ruins, there's something mystical or supernatural lingering inside those crumbling walls. His photos trigger thoughts and feelings in me that I can barely describe. For instance, my track "Try to Be Born" originated directly from one of Renat's photos of a bleak abandoned corridor. Looking at it unlocked a dark, eerie atmosphere that kept feeding into the music that further I pushed the arrangement. It's the same dynamics with Tanya. Her photographs on her Instagram profile, called Dark Sky, are insanely inspiring to me. My track, When You Meet Someone, came to life after I saw a picture she took of a park in the darkness. I remember everything there was romantic and tender, and an entire love story and lyrics set immediately flashed into my head.
Alrighty, you ready for another track, my friend?
I'm ready.
What would you like? I also have another track uploaded. I think we're running good time. So, do you want Noctherion or A Moment in Time, Noctis Voyager, or Immortal?
No, A Moment in Time, featuring Jane.
Let's do that. All right. For those that are listening in, we're going to play another track from Enimatik from Spain, featuring Jane Demon Rose. You're going to love it. Here we go.
Broken.
Yes, settle down, everybody. So we are back. We are back. Welcome back with the interview with Enimatik from Spain, sir. That was a great track.
Yeah.
We got some more. Yeah, well, I'm loving it too. I'm loving every minute of it. I'm loving you being here, bro. Thank you. Thank you, amigo. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful to have you on the show. And if those that are listening in here, I'm looking for other interviews. I'm looking for other artists. You want to come on the show? I'll give you a good interview. I'm also looking for sponsorship for those who are listening in. If I can get this to pay for itself, then just maybe, I can do what I like without having to deal with all this other stuff. So anyway, if you're interested, hit me up at odmpodcast.proton.me, and I put that into our chat. So let's go into the next question here. Okay. What role does particular memories of goth nights in Madrid play in your writing?
I know someone who dwells on the past beyond driving lesson from me that I don't see it around ruminating on past mistake or hard times. I see life as a sequence of experience and positive moments, and and that's what we should pause to appreciate every now and then to truly value that what we have now. Because of that, whenever I sit down in my studio to compose, memories of past times can pulling back moments I love to relive over and over, and lessons I pick it up along the way. I feel like this was my creative process, inspiring and driving me to write tracks that hit as emotionally as possible. At the end of the day, for me, memories are the ultimate soul books of inspiration.
Well, I hear you there. Like that's how it is with music with me too, right? I felt this probably really early when I first started off as a teenager, right, in the goth scene or in the punk scene or whatever I was in at that time, mostly goth scene for a while. I noticed I started branching out into other styles of music, and I started noticing that there was the dark everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Dark is the blues, right? It's the blues. It's what people might not even think that, but when you go into melancholy or you go into different
absolutely.
Forms, blues,
We have to talk about it. I agree with you about the blues. I agree with you.
Yeah, because there's things that are out there that I just. Do you think it has anything to do with like frequency has changed? There is sort of a conspiracy theory that when they changed it from 432 to whatever it is now, I think it's 444 hertz, that changed music in a way. I know, just a question outside of it. If you don't know, if you can't answer that one, that's okay. But it's a question. Do you think that had something to do with the change too?
I think blues is the first gothic.
Yeah, definitely, brother. All right, so let's go on to the next question. All right, for all those listening in, we're going to do another question here.
Okay.
Do you ever listening to music purely for pleasure anymore, or has everything become research and inspiration?
I could not really give you a definitive answer. Sometimes I'll be listening to music while driving, and a new track comes in that catch my ear, serving as immediately inspiration or an invitation to explore a new artist or genre altogether. Other times, while digging through reference tracks for arrangement or mixing a specific song, will take my attention and spark the seed for a brand new melody. I definitely don't have a fixed rule when it comes to finding inspiration.
All right, we can go into the next question here. I'm trying to do multiple things at once, so if it seems like I'm a little delayed here, ladies and gentlemen, it's because I am working solo on this, and there's multiple things going on, and the crowd likes that. Standing ovation, right? All right. Next question. Here is the next question.
The next question are the most interesting.
Yes.
I think.
The connection with Jane Demon Road seems faded. How did that collaboration begin, and what was given? Uh, how has it given it? How has it given your music that faded touch?
It's a wild story. Back in late 2020, I suffered a severe musculoskeletal injury that caused me a lot of pain, leaving me stuck, lying flat on the floor with my legs elevated for hours. So it was a nightmare. One night, the pain was so intense, I could not sleep despite the medication. So I tried to pass the hours scrolling through Instagram. Then by pure confidence or maybe fate, happened. I stumbled across the profile of a gothic model from Eastern Europe that instantly caught my eye. Looking through her photos sent a chill down my spine. It was as if I already knew her, like some pre-existing connection had just suddenly woken up. I figured it might be just the painkillers talking, but the next morning, the exact same feeling was there. So I decided to follow her. To my surprise, she followed me back. And as I explored her feed, one photo in particular was so captivating, so inspiring that it pushed me to write a new song. The tag flowed out of me as if it was amazing. If it had been sitting inside, just waiting for the right moment to be born. Composing it brought memories of the past, rushing back. For me, it was almost like a spiritual process. Without expecting much, I reached out to Jane to ask if I could use that photo as the cover award for the new track. To my surprise again, she said she had been happy to she needed to check it with the photographer. That photographer turned out to be Renat, who gave us his blessing without hesitation. Both of them were so kind, polite, and appreciative that I knew that spark connection was real. We are just waiting for the right moment to cross paths. That track became later Darkness Diva. Jane has brought so much to Enimatik. She's my diva, my princess of darkness. I always tell her that she's the sweetest inspiration an artist could ever ask for. We have collaborated on numerous projects, and she has always been so warm, so generous, so selfless, and genuine. On top of that, she brought Renat, my darkest friend, my raw, into my life. Both of them will always be an inseparable part of Animate. I love them both deeply.
Yeah. Well, the next question goes into another question with Jane. So, even though you and Jane live thousands of kilometers apart, the artistic bond feels very close. How do you maintain that creative relationship from a distance? And one more thing I'd like to add: it almost seems like you knew each other in a past life. What would you say?
I felt we chat all the time. We chat all the time, sending photos back and forth and constantly supporting each other. Jen is immensely talented. I have always pushed her to tap into that inner creative spark, to set any fear and just create. Whether we're not, we have built a deeply genuine friendship that completely defies the distance within us. We share life experience, worries, and personal reflection on a level that runs far deeper than people might think. I'm so proud of Jane. she recently launched her own online business. She's selling handmade gothic jewelry called the DF Chainmail. You can find the link right on her Instagram profile. Called One Beauty Zone. Her creations are incredible, and honestly, for me, seeing Jane express her creativity in every way possible is an absolute blessing. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, so if you want to check out her work on Instagram, what would that be called? What is it called? I forget the name, but I did see it and it's fantastic. What's the
Yes,
name of her business?
yes, for business is DF Chainmail. Her Instagram profile is One Beauty Zone, zona de la belleza vampírica.
Nice.
One Beauty Zone.
Well, I got to say, it's good work. You
Yeah,
know, as
absolutely.
someone who makes jewelry myself, right? That was the one thing that saved me from dark times and wanting to give up my creativity is, and during a period of my life where literally had an awakening and I forgot how to do things, right? I forgot who I was. And when I got into jewelry, I was able to wake up things very slowly because when you make stuff like that, it's like a meditation. You have the image in your mind, and then you recreate it with materials here in this reality, right? So for those who want to check out Jane Demon Rhodes's work, I would say go check it out, man. Buy some stuff. And you know what? The one thing that I've noticed that needs to come back into Gothic culture is more chainmail. Yeah, and I think the crowd loves that one. Yes, yes, they do. They do.
Yes.
So, should we do another track, my friend, or should I ask another question?
Okay.
What say you? You want to do a track? You want more questions?
Well, one more question. One more question.
One more question.
One more
Okay, let's
question.
go. Let's go to the question here. Renat Hustler's photography has become a visual signature of Enimatik. What draws you so strongly to this aesthetic?
Renat is an absolute master of urban exploration photography. That entire aesthetic is completely magnetic and deeply inspiring to me. The muted grays and deep blacks, the mysterious gothic atmospheres, the rooms and buildings frozen in a state of suspended animation. They trigger something deep in me, transporting me straight to those places and generating feelings of nostalgia, melancholy, and decay. I even had dreams about them. I seem to have this strange, intimate connection with Eastern Europe. I don't know if maybe it's the landscape, the melancholy, the decaying brutalness, architecture, the incredible dark electronic music stand, or simply the amazing people I've been lucky enough to meet from there. Coming from Spain, the contrast is stark, and maybe that sharp just a position is exactly why the connection runs so deep for me. Enimatik, Enimatik started as a project built on total creative freedom, initially focusing on chisel and chillstep and soft atmospheric gesture, but the visual world Renat introduced me to completely shifted my direction, expanding my creative universe into places I could never thought of.
Okay, are we ready for another track, my friend?
Ready now, I'm ready.
Okay, now he's ready. Crowd loves that one. Yes, they do. Yes, intense applause. Okay, so without further ado, what song should we do? We have Nectherion, Noctis Voyager, Immortal.
Nocterion.
All right, for all those that are listening in, we're going to play another of Enimatik's tracks. Noctherion, for everyone that is listening in. Here we go. Let's get ready to rock this stuff.
Say my name. Another remix.
we're back. Excellent track, my friend. Very, very interesting. You know, I could smell the fog machine. Settle down, everybody. Settle down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. You've worked with several. Hold on a second here. Let's get it back on the camera here because I'm trying to do cameras at the same time. Here we go. You've worked with several vocalists and remixers. What do you look for when you're choosing someone to collaborate with?
Collaborating with other artists, I think deeply enrich Enimatik. They bring added value to the project by introducing new sonic and visual dimensions, broadening my horizons as a composer and an artist. My current project is a brand new collaboration with Nana, a beautiful girl from Eastern Europe, with whom Enimatik has published with amazing tracks. And Nana has a truly unique voice, incredible talent, and stunning beauty. And just like with Jane, I'm fully dedicated to helping her full potential as an artist explore. We are working on a new song where she takes the center stage as lead vocalist while providing the visual concept. And I can tell you right now, it's turning out insane. From day one, I remember Nana brought incredible inspiration and freshness to my writing process. Her voice carries both soft delicatenesses and real power, blending seamlessly with the soundscape I aim for across all our collaborations. Her husband, by the way, Sergey, is an audio engineer and guitarist, and his guitar tracks are mind-blowing for me. They bring one new dimension to Enimatik sound that I never could have achieved on my own. Since I know the guitarist myself, Nana is equally charming, kind, and talented. I feel extremely fortunate that Enimatik brought our paths together.
Alrighty. Is there a dream collaboration, living or historical, that you would love to make or happen?
It must sound strange, but I really don't picture Enimatik collaborating with anyone outside of those who naturally cross my path over time. I don't know if it is about avoiding false expectation or potential disappointments, but I prefer to stay grounded in the present rather than daydreaming about collaboration that might never actually happen.
Well, I mean, anything's in the realm of possibility, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Like I
Who
said,
knows?
you might make a Spanish reggae song. You might start going into 8-bit reggae.
Finally, I will be ready. I will be ready.
Yeah, man. Okay, let's go back into some questions. Here we go. Photosex has become one of your fan favorites. What does that song mean to you personally?
Oof, I don't know where to start with this one. Beyond being one of the Enimatik's biggest tracks, especially in Eastern Europe, Photosex is the absolute pinnacle of the Dark Trinity that Jane, Renata, and I have formed. The Dark Trinity is very cool. The title actually came from combining Photoset, referring to Renat's photo collection, with sex, to create Photosex. On a personal level, I'm incredibly proud of this track. I recently remixed it to polish up the original sound and keep it fresh, and the result turned out amazingly well. Everything locked into place seamlessly. James' vocal alongside mine, the instrumental background, the visual aesthetics, the lyrics. It's also this song is also a good favorite of Jane and Renat. Photosex was easily the darkest track I had produced at the time. The original version days back to 2021, and the entire working and production process was a complete thrill. Reworking it for the current remix was a blast, and I feel like it pushed the song's visual and thematic universe even further. The original cover art with Jane was beautiful, but the new art for the remix for which Jane and Renat showed a brand new photo set, very very cool. It's simply mind blowing. Jane looks like a dark goddess of pure sensuality. For me, it's absolute perfection.
Yes, I would have to agree. She has a beautiful voice. Everyone that she's been collaborating with are very talented people. You're very lucky.
Absolutely,
You're very
absolutely.
lucky to have a new dark family with you that is on the same page with you. That's been one of the hardest things for me with collaboration is getting everyone on the same page or
Yes.
mindset or idea and having everyone agree or feel like they're included and not left out. Um, let's go to another question here. Okay, we're doing this real quick. Yes, certain things are getting in the way. There we go. All right. The recent intimate electronic music EP features instrumental versions of tracks that originally had vocals. Why did you decide to release them that way?
Right now, I'm exploring new sounds, diving into genres like wave and punk, the kind of music you hear in night driving videos. Artists like Mirage, Athalet, 97 Kickstar, and TXDO are heavy me rotation at the moment. I'm completely hooked on the tracks. That's actually what pushed me to work on an EP featuring instrumental reimagination of earlier Enimatik songs, stripping back the vocal tracks and dialing in subtle new arrangements to give them a more contemporary edge that reflects the sounds I'm currently listening. I wanted to with the EP to assemble a collection with a cohesive sonic atmosphere and to achieve that, stripping out all vocals and keeping every track purely instrumental felt essential for me.
All right. I read on your your website that one of your latest singles, which is also part of Intimate Electronic EP, has a really interesting story. Could you give me some more details, please?
Of course, the first stage of this song goes back to around 2007, a time when I had completely walked away from the music industry and I didn't even have a keyboard at home. One day, while visiting a friend, I remember who had an acoustic piano on in the living room, they persuaded me to play something. After checking off some initial rush with a few well-known songs, everyone went back to the conversation, and I started improvising at the piano. Within minutes, playing through a short progression, I like it. A melody flashed into my head. I quickly translated it into notes, and before long, and I had a full verse and chorus structure. Um, I structured it right then and there, and suddenly Avalon was born. Luckily, my friend I remember, had blank sheet music lying around, and so I quickly write down the chords and melody before the idea faded. At the time, I never could have imagined what would happen to that sheet music almost 20 years later, or that I would not play that song again until 2020. In 2020, Enimatik was born, and right after releasing my debut single called Airflow, I was sitting in my studio late one night when I suddenly remembered that old piece of paper. I started digging through my drawers, and thankfully, found in among the sound or papers. I found it. As excited, I opened a fresh new session in my DAW, and within a few days, Avalon took shape in its second form, releasing in August of 2020. That track, I remember, brought Enimatik its very first wave of fan recognition and really solidified the project. Deep down, so I know it wasn't in its final form yet. It was still missing a final evolution. That moment arrived this year, courtesy of my dear Tanya. I long been a fan of her work, but a few months ago, she posted some self-portraits rather than her usual landscape shots, and they completely blew me away. Here was a photographic artist daring to show herself completely raw and authentic, stunning, enigmatic, and deeply inspiring. Her photos unlocked a rush of raw emotion in me, nostalgia, passion, desire, and a deep attraction toward a mysterious lady. The moment I sat down to translate those feelings into music, my mind went straight back to Avalon. I knew it was time for its ultimate transformation, and then Midnight Avalon was born. It seamlessly blends the magic of its early incarnation, while I think it's elevating the track in every level, both emotionally and technically. When it was Midnight Avalon was finally released, I felt that the melody, which first surfaced nearly 2 decades ago, had at last reached its definitive form, and all thanks to it's beautiful to a beautiful and mysterious woman like my dear Tanya.
All right, well, let's see here. We're going to go into another track. How about that? We have two more tracks. You got Noctis, Voyager, and Immortal.
Not takes Voyager.
All right, for those that are listening in, we're going to play another track from Enimatik from Spain. Everyone that's listening in and tuning in later, enjoy. Yes. Oxus Voyager, everybody. Can you feel it? I can feel it. It's almost like magic. Indeed. Well, we got time for one more question. Let's go ahead and ask that away, and then we'll do some plugs. Okay. So, we had a lot of questions here, and I did pull it off the internet to be able to ask these questions because not only is this a show where we're talking about you personally, but it's also educating me more about yourself. And I'm happy for that one. So let's do this question, and then I'll let you. We'll do some plugs. Okay. Let's go all the way to the end here. Okay, because this is a question I think is something that's important to the continuity of my own show. So this is going to be number 50. You described the moment you discovered Jane Demon Rhodes' photo as something mystical, almost magical, unexplained connection that locked a flood of creativity. Have you ever experienced other moments in your life that felt paranormal, uncanny, and beyond traditional?
Yes. There are songs that literally come to me in my dreams. While fall asleep, a melody that completely hooks me when suddenly appears out of nowhere. The moment I wake up, I desperately try to not to lose it. We're rushing to write down or record the chords and a melody wherever I can. I don't know if there's a scientific explanation for it. All I know is that it has happened to me several times, and a number of Enimatik songs were born that way. I also have had dreams where I found myself immersed in an entire universe with my imagination from visual art, like the photography of Renato Tania. I think it's very curious. I know in those dreams I walked through lonely, melancholic landscape and explored abandoned buildings. Again, I have no idea if science can explain it, but it's something that has happened to me time to time again.
Well, I'm under the belief that when you are creating stuff, it comes from your imagination, which is the core term from where magic came from. Right? When you're taking stuff from the darkness of your own multiverse of your mind, you're bringing it forth into reality with materials made, components, how you say it here, on this 3D reality we live in. You're literally doing a magic, and it's probably the only magic that truly exists in this world. Is poetry, art, music? Right?
Maybe I think music and art in general connect us to the supernatural, to the sobrenatural things. I think the music is like a way to interdimensional connection. I don't feel nothing like music in my mind and in my body. It's nothing like music for me.
Yeah. All right, everybody, and there's some standing applause for you there. There we go.
Thank you.
Yes. Proud, love, and Enimatik. Let's just go ahead and take a look at our audience. Yeah, watch us after the show. So this is the time where we're going to go ahead and do some plug-in and play a little track that I created, a little ditty called Plug Music. And this is the part of the show where we shamelessly promote ourselves. And without further ado, where can people find you, my friend?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us where they can find you.
Cool.
No?
Cool.
This is where you plug yourself. You're like, I'm over here and I'm over here. So where can people find you? What platforms can they find you?
Nice.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'm just going to plug myself in. Well, let's go ahead and go in. I can plug for you. How about that? All right? You can find me on YouTube. You can find Enimatik on Spotify. You can find him on Instagram. And where else can they find you? No? Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Here's me. All right. So this has been the Of Dark Matters podcast. I am MoJoE the Mad. I wanted to thank everyone who was here and turned into the show and appreciated the music. Actually, our first musician, right? Our first musician here on the show. I want to feature more artists. We are looking for people to interview. We have good interviews coming up here on Podcast Land of the Of Dark Matters podcast. Next week, we're going to have Mia Starfire, a friend of the show. I've been interviewed on her show. And it should be a mystical experience. I hope you all can tune in. We are here every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 6 p.m. Eastern. You can find us here. You can find us under me under SoundCloud, under MoJoE the Mad, the Drum Alama Ding Dong, where you can hear my music. You can hear switches. You can hear ads I made, right? You also find the previous incarnation of this podcast called Please Stand By, which is also had past episodes on SoundCloud. You can find me under MoJoE the Man on Facebook. You can find me under MoJoE the Man on Substack. You can find me on MoJoE the Man on Instagram. But you can also find me under the Of Dark Matters podcast, both on Instagram and Facebook. So please give us a like, share, and subscribe if you like this channel. And not only that, support Enimatik. Support Jade Demon Road. Support all of these artists. Give them a like, give them a follow. Enjoy this. I want to say one more thing. Changes happen. Some things are inevitable. We all go through tests in life. Sometimes those tests come in a trickle, and sometimes they come into a downpour of a storm. But storms all pass. Change leads to transformation. And how do we break out of the assumed law and order of this 3D reality? We go within, because the reality we are around that surrounds us is random. The randomness is also chaos, and how do we deal with that chaos as we go internalized within ourselves? Remember that. Much love to y'all. I hope you have a great weekend. And without further ado, let's go ahead and close out the show. If Enimatik wants to stick around and talk a little bit after the show, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for the opportunity. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
It is my honor. It is my honor, sir, to have you here and to call you friend. Let us collaborate. Let us create magic. Let us see what we can do.
Let's go.
Thank you all, and good night.
Good night.
All of us here at the Of Dark Matters podcast would like to thank all of our listeners that tune in to us every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for listening and good night. This has been a production of Mojo Mojito production.